Apple, our mission is to design products and services that empower and inspire you. And we're so excited to see what you'll do with all of the new innovations introduced today. Everyone take care, stay safe, and have a great day.
Right. So with that over, just gonna do this really quick. So again, no surprises outside of what people somewhat was expecting. Right? There was pretty much the same, I should say, layout that they had in play. So the innovation was more so allocated to the innards, so to speak, of a lot of these different devices. And we didn't necessarily have any, again, monumental, groundbreaking revelations, right? So hence the stock right now is definitely, pulling back from that, first value of anticipation, right? Of that, they may drop the quote unquote, partnership with Peloton for the Peloton bike, or at least a feature on there that will sync with Apple Watches, this, that, and the third. Again, nothing to that regard. So I think Apple is saving all their marbles, so to speak, for the, the launch of the phone, right? The 12, right? They want to make that a singular event, in itself. And, any investors in it right now, you will be, somewhat, I don't know, you have to just kind of sit and wait, right? You have to sit and wait, right? You're in that kind of sit and wait mode. Forgive me, guys, I'm eating too. Right? You have to be in the sit and wait mode. Right? So, again, the stock hit 118. It came from, if you think about yesterday, 115.36. That's pretty much the line in the sand for any bulls that had high hopes for the event today. Again, knowing that it could be a sell the news event, right? Everything you buy ahead of the event, print it, right? Obviously, in my case, they print it. As soon as I saw the resistance from the other day, which is 118, that's kind of my line in the sand, right? Close those positions out up there. If it bounces and goes higher, again, the next place I would look for entry would be 120, right? Because that's like what they call, that's definitely your, your bottom, your breakout bottom, I should say. I know it seems odd to say it in that way, but that's basically saying, hey, this is, this is the, this is where we kind of, say, it's time for it to get right, right? It's time for it to get right. That's what we say, right? Get right, right? So, nonetheless, again, the event turned out to be somewhat of, I would say, for most the shareholders who were looking for a lot more out of it, a disappointment. So the S&P 500 is coming down to, in relation to Apple, right? Which is, typical, right? Because Apple obviously carries a lot of weight in the market. So, that's indicative of them saying, hey, we're not excited, right? We're not excited about what you just, displayed here today. In essence, it's just going to carry the S&P 500 right now. So interesting watching the SPY here. Again, you got stocks coming down. You got Nikola coming down. Again, Apple definitely coming down. You have, again, so we already broke yesterday's low. We broke yesterday's lows in Apple. So now it can get tricky. So if they don't bounce it in around this 115.26, in around 115.36 area, if they do not bounce it here, expect for the stock to definitely pull back, substantially down towards the 113 plus possible area, right? Possibly around that area, right? So again, the stock is definitely up against some pressure here. If it cannot bounce around this 115.26, 115.36 area, it will be light stock for Apple for today. That is. I mean, and that's strictly speaking for, again, people who are day trading it, right? If you didn't collect the bag, up around, 118, a little bit over 118, when it shot up above that, right? And you was hoping for 120, well, I mean, you know how this stuff works, right? It's all speculative. It's somewhat of a gamble if you're doing it under that mindset, right? Right, and I'm only saying that because it's pretty much an event-driven moment. It's an event-driven moment. Right? Let me do this real quick here. Sorry. So, as you can see there, it bounced, obviously below it, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hold, right? It doesn't mean that it's going to hold. And so if they want this thing to carry any momentum going into the rest of the week, they got to hold that gun line. They got to hold that 115.36, 115.26 area, right? Because if not, again, like I said, Apple will definitely see some areas that it don't necessarily want to go back to, right? And so I can only imagine people like Dan Ives right now, right, one of the biggest analysts out there, who's a super, super bull when it comes to Apple. He's somewhere right now, probably drinking some Jack Daniels, right, this time of day, 2 a.m., right, 2 p.m., right, sweating a little bit because people would probably call him saying, hey, man, I thought you said the stock was going to, rally on this event. Right? He's somewhere nervous, sweating, right? He's probably in the cold somewhere on the mountains and sweating. Right. So, but again, in an investor's mindset is that, okay, well, we got a nice little 2-3% bump, on today's rally leading into the event. Again, remember we always talk about the 3% rule? That's why the 3% rule is very important, especially in stocks like Apple, Tesla, whatever, because 3% for them is like really huge, right? Right? 3% for stocks like that are definitely big, profit haul values in those particular assets, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, you say to yourself, okay, well, if your money is made, your money is made. Yeah, you got Apple probably in another long-term portfolio somewhere, but you might be day trading in your what? Your Mad Money account. Right, your Mad Money account is what's driving, your little short-term profit values and things of that nature, on a daily basis, right, or whenever you're actually accessing it. And so the end result is that people who were, livid about the idea, that the stock didn't necessarily break, to these, astronomical highs that everybody was kind of, in their mind, some people, not all, thinking, right? Because you was hearing people saying 150, 135. I'm like, no. You know, take it take it step by step, right? This is the stock market, not the wishful market, right? You know, you've already got a nice little bump out the complete lows about 110, and you got up highs like what 118 around what less than what 4 days, 5 days of that coming out last week. So that's 80 points, right? Those are people who bought calls last week into this week ahead of the event. Again, calls, right? Just to kind of hedge their their position, their long-term position, I should say. And they're just taking a little profit. That's basically what happened. They took a little profit. Right? So again, as you can see here, it's starting to bounce a little bit, right? It's starting to bounce a little bit, right? Obviously, it clears this little, the 20-day moving average, which is the blue line there. If it can clear that 20-day moving average of 116.20 and at least close above that, well, that would be positive, right? That little blue line right there, that would be positive for the stock, right? And so right now you have SP 500 catching the bid right now a little bit too. So it might be helping. Again, we know the Feds might be backstopping Apple through the SPY, right? They will do stuff like that. Again, courtesy, right? Or by way of, I should say, BlackRock or JP Morgan, which are pretty much handling a lot of the ETF buying, from the Treasury Department, by the Fed. So, hey, right? Who knows? Right? Who knows? But nonetheless, again, like I say, you do have a bounce happening here, somewhat for those who were impatient, especially here, right? Up in here, they're like, nah. Here, they're like, maybe. Okay, we got the VWAP still. We got tell them about the gun line, boss. There's that gun line. That VWAP right there, right? Right, sitting at there roughly around about 117.30, right, which is a clear level of resistance a couple times, right, throughout the day, coming back even far as here and providing support even right around this area here. And so now, again, here's your magic hour. Again, it's 2:16. We got obviously the power hour in terms of 3 o'clock. But if Apple gets above this 20-day moving average here, and again, close some nice little candles above it. So y'all know my theory, right? It has to get above it, right, and close at least 5 minutes. I mean, 5 1-minute candles. Any kind of other new buy, right? So you have to have, you have to have that kind of level of, strength, right? You're looking for strength, right? You're looking to build planks, right? You're building planks. Every time you lay down a candle, right, of buyers, you're building a plank, right? Stability. And you're hoping the short sellers don't come through with axes and Molotov cocktails and whatever they got, pulling nails out your plank, right? Because that makes it very rickety, right? And so that's what you have here again. You have a moment here where the stock is trying to pretty much convince itself, and there's people who are in it for today, the daily traders, that they're not out of the, they're not knocked out quite yet. Because it wasn't some revolutionary event today. Apple kept it very quaint and it went straight down to the technicals within the innovative values of what they do for their already existing products. And that was that. Not even a hint about the iPhone 12. No idea about their, this autonomous driving, innovation, so to speak, that they're looking to kind of put out at some point through the, the rumors. I mean, they left all that stuff on the hush, lock and key. So, that's what you're dealing with right now. That is exactly what you're dealing with. So it's strictly about the watch and strictly about the pretty much the iPad itself, right? Just to be, direct about it. That was pretty much, the basis of the conversation for today. For anybody who's sitting there watching it too and trying to figure out, where's where's the beef, right? Where's the beef? Well, the beef was pretty much lean and possibly, a vegan beef today. Very, very, lean event today. Nothing really heavy, right? Nothing really completely heavy. Now, to some people, they're like, whoa. I'm an Apple fan. Some of the stuff I saw that they unveiled seemed to be pretty, solid. Again, depends if you're a techie or you're not. Again, I like to, I used to be a really big techie, but now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm checking their status. I'm checking the basic core or innards of things, and if they kind of are better than that of the previous generation, then okay, yeah, maybe. Right. Then we're looking at price after that, right? So price obviously is a big, proponent too, right? Are people willing to pay that, So, but again, we are still in a pandemic, right? People, again, sometimes it's hard not to think that we're still in the middle of a pandemic and you don't have the level of natural consumerism or natural, flow of things happening in and around us. So it's hard to really gauge the market of consumers to products, outside of just looking at people's stocks that have benefited from the ideal of the Fed, the Fed put, so to speak, right? The Federal Reserve, putting a backstop on the market, stopping any kind of natural bleeding, and the market's just been held up, it's been held up under that mandate of, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. All right. And people are buying stocks under that same mandate. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. All right. And so that's pretty much how this stuff works. So long-term holders, again, you're not sweating this. You're saying, okay, well, we're still up, from yesterday's closing price. Obviously, we're not at, above 118 resistance, which obviously is some resistance up there, that 118, but, you do have a celebration of thought to a degree where you're saying, well, at least we're not down here, down here near that, hold up, where we're at, that 110 area. Like we hit some major, support down here near this 110 before it actually bounced, right? Before it bounced, right? Talking about going back like last week, right? And so everything from that point on, it was just a trek to the upside, right? Just trekking to the upside, right? So you got, pretty much Monday and Tuesday, basically Monday and Tuesday of price action to kind of give the person some kind of level of, some kind of level of, happiness. Well, in this case over here, I'm way over there. I forgot I'm on the daily chart, but here on this little bounce right here, this little bounce right here, right? So again, that's what we're looking at. We've kind of laid out our deal where the stock potentially has to, do its thing at today in terms of being able to hold. If not, again, if you break this, yesterday's closing price and come down below that, that may trigger some stop losses, right? For those who are day trading, that may, trigger some stop loss, and you will be obviously subjected to those, right? Nothing you can do about that unless you sell, right? Or just restructure your position or whatever, right? But, that's where I would say, you want to be, watching that area, right? In around this one, 115.36, 115.26, somewhere around there. Right. So the moving average obviously is downtrending at this point. As you can see, it's steady dipping lower in terms of 20. And it's being, used as a lid, so to speak, on Apple stock, because look at how Apple stock is riding that 20-day moving average right back down. Right. Right. It had a chance to break above it to kind of, snatch it up with it. But again, what we're seeing here is kind of like I said earlier, it's starting to really show, the weakness here, and not being able to hold. So I'm pretty sure if you look at the S&P 500, it's probably going to be in the same boat. And if the SPY falls down any value along with that of the, the tech sector as a whole too, if there's any of those stocks in there that are sputtering too, that could be really bad for Apple. And I'm saying only bad for intraday, right? Only bad for intraday, right? Because we don't want to get into this whole, this hyperbole and have people scrambling, oh man, I need to sell my position. No, that's not that kind of party. It's just understanding intraday, volatility, intraday, inflows and outflows in terms of what that does for markets, in real time, right? It has nothing to do with the macro picture, right? It has nothing to do with the macro picture, because this is something that's, ultimately still a benefit for Apple stock, in the long run, right? Because again, it's product placement, right? It's product, product value, product, product, expansion, so to speak. That's at some point, consumers will begin to, take advantage of. So again, You know, we'll see how this, you know, acts going into power hour, which is, you know, roughly about near 30 minutes out, you know, near 37 minutes out. If it catch a bid definitely within that 3 o'clock hour, let's say it closes above at least 116 and change, right? That's still pretty positive for the Apple stock on the day. Right? It's still positive for Apple stock on the day. Again, anything above the gun line, it's better to close higher above it than close to it, right? Close to it, because after hours can really, you know, snatch it back down below it, right? And people that, you know, sat throughout the day and kind of really, you know, didn't have a chance to go through the event, and they're not happy with it. And I'm saying like some major fund, you know, whatever the case, it has a lot of shares, then they can either snatch it below that, you know, that 115.36 support level of where it closed at yesterday, right? So again, so that's pretty much the basis. I just want to kind of come on the back, you know, the back end here, and look at the company, or the stock, I should say, and see how it's performing after the event, because it seemed to have been a very short, again, like I said, very brief until the point event. Now, it was longer than, you know, most people probably would think in terms of, you know, these events, but, you know, yeah, again, it's a COVID situation, right? So they can't have a packed house, so you got to worry about all that. You have to stop and listen to people clap, right? You just get straight to it, right? Just come straight to, like doing a PowerPoint, like a business meeting presentation. And that's basically what it was. So Apple just came and did their presentation, and they were out of there, right? We're out of here, right? No popsicles, no none of that, right? None of that kind of stuff like that. You know, no Oprah showing up, no Steven Spielberg, right? None of that stuff, right? Tim Cook, you know, the officers underneath him, you know, and that was that. That was pretty much that. Right. So again, so the SPY, again, looking at the SPY here, SPY is definitely again, it's showing exactly there. Okay, here we go. Here we go on Apple. Here we go on Apple again. That moving average is acting like a, you know, it's acting, and there we go. So now you're gonna have a little bounce here at the close of price yesterday. If it does not hold, it's gonna get a little ratchet, right? If it says it's gonna get ratchet, it's gonna get a little ratchet, right? So again, I'm just gonna say, you know, just be careful here. If you are, you know, again, day trading it, I should say, if you're day trading it, and you're looking for some kind of, you know, confirmation at this point, you know, you just closed below yesterday's, you know, price. So I don't know what else is out there. I mean, it's still fighting in and around it. Like I say, 115.26. Now, you know, most people say, well, okay, 115. You know, you got to give it some cushion, right? Y'all know how stocks are, right? So whatever your stop loss is, you give it some cushion. But realize, you know, it has to fight for that supremacy, right? It has to fight for that gun line, that 115.36. And you see, I mean, as you see here, is doing everything it can. So these wicks obviously don't count. Again, it's about how you close when the candle or it opens and closes. So y'all know how this stuff works. Candles have to close above or below a particular, you know, indicator to show whether that strength is obviously demonstrative or it's just wavering in or around those areas. And in this case, what did the candle do? It opened up right back above that yesterday's closing price there. Discrete. I mean, you can see it to the T, right? Almost. It you know, opened up above it, and it's fighting again to kind of, you know, stay above that yesterday's price. You know, and so if the S&P 500 get any kind of a bang, right? Any kind of a bang on the back end of the day, especially in power hour, you know, after it has pulled down as well, then that may also help, you know, Apple. It just might help Apple, right? It just might, right? Barely, right? Can you see? Barely, right? Barely, right? That's like, yeah, we barely can. So yeah, XLK, same thing. XLK pulling back here. Yeah, here on the daily chart here. Matter of fact, let me do this real quick. I was eating my lunch at the same time, so I decided, I'm gonna eat my lunch first, then go to the post office. I have some packages to mail off. You know, some family gets some to sea moss, whatever. Keeping the family, you know, shout out to the people who are proponents of health and wealth, getting them a bag, both ways, a financial bag and a health bag, right? Getting both, right? I'm sitting there chugging me some sea moss right now, and apple juice and peach, all right, and peaches. So same reality. So again, looking at XLK here, XLK same way. South pullback. All right, this is all because of Apple, right? You was up here knocking on that 117.38, 117.40, and Apple was like right. So it pulled it back here. So this again, this is the daily chart. So again, if you put on a shorter time frame, let's say the 30-minute, you'll see here definitely how important that 30 minutes, value of the, the Apple event itself became to be relevant. So again, we say 1 o'clock, right? 1 o'clock, here's the event. All right, here's the event for Apple at 1 o'clock on the XLK, which is the tech spider ETF, right? So, okay, maybe, okay, they talking about the iPods, whatever, and then you got below the VWAP here. Tell them about the gun line, boss. After that, it was a wrap. At least for now. But here's the gap up. So this is the gap up from yesterday. The tech gap, tech set the gapped up on, again, the SPY being up and then potential Apple news. So you was already, up about, $1 and some change, $1, 40 some odd cent, on the gap up. And now you're starting to look heavy here. Again, getting close to the 200-day moving average, especially on the 30-minute chart. It begin to look a little heavy up here. You hit some resistance here. You hit it here and rejection. And so now it's what? Downhill slalom, right? Downhill slalom time. Now it can easily close this gap, or it can find a way to kind of stay pivoting around, at least this 20-day moving average here around about 116.33. If it come down and test that low, it did it earlier, obviously, on this wick right here. But now, again, that seems to be the line in the sand for the rest of the day, right? For the rest of the day. You break that, then, yeah, it can get slippery, right? You got a gap here. It can easily close from that point on. So Apple, it has to, do its thing here, right? Or it's going to be a little slippery. Again, it's going to get a little slippery. And here's your 1 o'clock time frame here. Again, right above that 200-day moving average, again, showing to be major resistance, right? Pushed it down on some, meh, right? That's how Investor Power looked at the event today. Meh. Some people gonna say it's a nothing burger, all that too. So you know how that goes. So you already closed the gap from yesterday, obviously, from the 1536 point where it gapped up here in the after hour session. Again, you closed up yesterday roughly around about around that 1536. So you already kind of flirting with that right now, the point of support. Back to the downside. So all this right here was just, cheerleading and getting all excited, irrational exuberance. As we always say, we don't get emotional. We just get what? More stubborn and keen to follow the rules, right? To stand discipline, right? Not over-sexualizing. So, yeah. So, again, it was a great, scalp call by. Again, in my case, I scalped it going into the event. I was looking for anything above 118. I'm in there. Right? So we got that obviously in the very opening, pull back, and then we went up here and got above it again here in the back end, somewhat near the back end of the day. Right? And it closed, after that point, it showed, some major weakness here. As you can see, again, look at both of those candles there. Obviously weakness there. Can't close above the 20-day moving average. The rest was just history. Right? The rest was history. And so right now the stock is obviously, is showing you that. So 115 breaks, you best believe it's going to deluge. Right? It's going to have that deluge moment. Right? And it may, again, fall from that point and go test some of these areas up in here. Right? This climbing of this little, these green candles here back to back here, some of those going to be in major trouble. Right? So you got 113.61. Again, 114.38, somewhere around there, give or take. And then, anything below 115 even. So right now you're sitting at 115.04, 115.03. It's probably going to break it. I mean, it looks very heavy here. Right? It looks very heavy here. Right? So again, you're going to need the SPY to really, really, get the cracking, right? The Dow and the 7 has to really get the cracking, right? Because if not, it's going to be, it's going to be a long ride on the night shift. It's about to be, the Apple about to be on the night shift. Right? They're going to have to need those after hour traders in the futures market to kind of come in and bang it on back up, right? All right. Hey, what's going on, family? I know I'm just talking. I know see family that came in the building. Welcome to the Emporium channel, right? Emporium 2, right? You know, like some restaurants and lounges, they have one cross town, then they got another one, you know, uptown. Right? We cross town now at Emporium 2, right? Emporium 2 lounge, right? Kick back, you know, have your favorite, you know, smoothie, whatever you got, right? Your little leafy green, right? And you know, hang on out with your brother here for a couple seconds here. Peace, power, profit to the family, right? Coming through, hanging out with your brother here on the second channel, getting it in, right? No matter what, we're gonna drop that information, right? We're gonna roll that beautiful bean footage, as we like to say. All right. So peace, power, profit to you all. Again, always welcome to have, you know, and happy to see your faces, you know, your faces in the building. All right. So that's how, again, that's just my little technical thesis of what's Apple looking like here on the back of the event. Again, you guys saw most of the event. All right. So it wasn't nothing, you know, I guess revolutionary, if you want to say that. To some people are probably going to say, well, it was enough for me. But, you know, when we talk about things that actually move the markets. Now, here's what's interesting. Now, it can pull back right now and people just taking profit from the, you know, run up from, you know, Monday or Friday up until today, right? Again, you can't look where you came from. Again, we always like to be, you know, solid in terms of our assessments. You got 110, 112. You went from there all the way to 118. That's 6 whole points, right? That's good money, right? That's good money, right? So anything below that, again, basically near 119, you know, early on in the day, right? Or pre-market and also, you know, when the market opens up. But here again, you're just trying to, you know, make it true. Well, I guess you could say off the lows, right? Since you bounced off 110, you somewhat in a bullish trend, right? Off the lows, that is. Now, keep in mind, I said off the lows, right? But again, you definitely have to retake this 200-day moving average, right? You're going to have to retake the 200-day moving average, right? And you had a chance to get up above it in the pre-market session here, and also during the intraday session here, before obviously losing it, you know, coming down, stress testing the bottom a little bit. It turns a little gap right here, right? Feel the gap. Now I did feel this gap at least. That's good. That's a good thing. I feel this gap right here, bounced, you know, up until the event, and then the event was like, meh, right, meh, you know. At least Wall Street saw it that way, because if not, it would have been, you know, at least sustaining above 117, just chopping out sideways, right? Obviously, that's not the case. Well, as of right now, it's not. So you basically have an hour and 30 minutes to make something happen, right? You have an hour and 30 minutes to do a little something strange for a little piece of change, right? Seriously, Apple has to, you know, really, or the stock, you know, for the investor sentiment to carry over, they're going to do something little strange for a piece of change here. Right. And so if they just get back above at least the 20-day moving average here, again, it's 116.40, 116.58, whatever, give or take that, you know, depends on what time frame you're on, then that will still be positive for the stock, regardless of what anything, you know, or anything else that, you know, may have been a potential mover for the stock today. That will still be positive, because again, it's showing that, you know, you're closing higher than what you did the previous day, and above a major a moving average line that's holding weight, right? Because obviously that moving average is a weighted indicator, right? It's people are using it as a, you know, launching pad, so to speak, or a floor, so to speak, in terms of how they're, you know, positioning their buys, options, and or just equity outright. Right, so you got Apple fighting again. Apple is fighting, you know, to stay above the 115 floor. You know, again, that's typical, because y'all know as I'm always saying, whole dollar marks are obviously psychological barriers, right? Either up or down, right? Whole dollar marks, right? It's hard to penetrate a dollar if you're a stock that's below, you know, trading below $1, right? It's hard to get above 100 when you're trading at 98, 99, you know, trying to break that 100. That psychological whole dollar mark area becomes a major barrier. Your news, strength, and buyers have to be strong enough to weather through it, to penetrate that place and move on up to the upside. Or if you're shorting, to the downside. All right, so there you go. As far as Apple, I'm pretty sure the Qs are looking the same thing. The triple Qs probably gonna be the same. Yep, same thing. Again, you talking about tech, so NASDAQ, whatever. Right? Same thing. You got head over heels here. 1 o'clock. Yeah. Right. Quick little rundown, real quick. Now it's testing that 200-day moving average here on the 30-minute chart. So it's acting like support, for the QQQs, right? On the 30-minute chart, it is. I mean, literally, it's sitting right, barely above it, right? Barely, like a hairline fracture, right? A hairline fracture above it, right? Stays above it, yeah, you got a little chance to reclaim your VWAP here, 279. That will also bring a little energy to Facebook, Netflix, Google, Apple, Amazon, those stocks in the tech sector, Microsoft. Right, so right now you're catching a small little, I don't know. They fighting. All I can say, they fighting here. Bulls and the Bears fighting here for supremacy here. So we'll see who wins out, especially going into the power hour. Again, this thing, closing below this 200-day moving average here, ahead of the power hour. And, you showing the weakness, back down towards the 20 here, this 278.43. Woo. I'm going to say woo, 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 woo. Right, Martin would say woo, 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 woo. Yeah. Right, that's not my mama biscuits, Gina. Right, that's not my mama biscuits. Right, you're going to be in trouble, boy. Them little biscuits going to be hard as a rock. They ain't going to be able to float you. Right, they ain't got them light biscuits. So we'll see. Again, but that's just my little, end of the event analysis. Again, I know we going, we still banging out over here. Right. Again, we're just trying to establish some values of, what to look for, what to assess, how to potentially position yourself if you are in the stock, trading it more so than going long. Right. Trading it more so than going just long. Right. Long-term holder. All right. So again, that's it. So you guys got any stocks you want me to look at real quick while I am on? Again, I am getting ready to make a run real quick to the post office. What's going on over Divine? Divine full in the building, right? We're going to make that run. Right? Over Brandon in the house. All right, family, Timothy Parker then came through. Peace, power, profit to your family. Happy to have you in the building. Over Sunline, Sister Lakeisha in the house, right? Right? Over Kristen popped through, right? What's going on? Anybody else who may be watching in the background, listening in. Just to give a little technical analysis on Apple stock. Again, if you do have a stock that you are looking at, or want me to look at real quick while I have a little minute here. Again, I say a little minute. All right. Y'all know how a minute is to black folk, right? Right. That's a minute, man. A minute be sub special. All right. So over Brandon say LAC. All right. Let's look at LAC real quick. See what's going on with LAC. All right. What's the backstory on LLC over Brandon? Oh, look. Come on, thing. Why is this thing acting up? Okay. There we go. What's your backstory on LLC? All right. LLC. Right. LLC. All right. This is my LLC. LAC. Goodness. All right. It's a lithium play. All right. It's a lithium play. Again, Tesla. Right. Lithium, things that have to deal with lithium. Right. So again, this stock is banging up to the upside here. Coming from yesterday around about $6.97. Gapped up here. Right. Gapped up above the VWAP and the 20-day moving average here. I'm guessing on some news, right? Opened up around about 720, 723. Had a big bullish engulfing candle to kind of surge above the 20-day moving average, especially here on the 30-minute chart. I mean, that's a beautiful candle right there. That's definitely some institutional buying coming into the stock too, right? Maybe it's a couple of hedge funds here and there, who knows? Again, rallying up here, as you can see here in the this is yesterday, of course. This is yesterday's price action. Rallying up here and closing strong on the day. Again, closing higher, than again the level of support around the VWAP here. Carrying that momentum into the next day. Again, you had a gap up, obviously, in the after-hour session, right? Or in the pre-market session. Again, this morning, I should say, excuse me. And then more ramping up to the upside. And, I mean, look at that pattern there. That's a beautiful, bullish flag pattern to the upside, right? And you got some, some stop-and-go traffic trading in there, but it's established it pretty much established some nice strength. If you think about how it pulled back here, in the beginning, even though you kind of had a nice top out around about $9 and change up here, but if you look at the wedge, when we always talk about looking at patterns, right? We're looking at patterns, right? We're looking at strength, right? We want to look at strength, right? We want to see them holding that certain angle, right? What they call a T line or a trend line, right? That stock is holding the trend line there pretty nicely, right? It's holding the trend line pretty nicely here. And this is kind of creeping on up. You know, again, tested the top of this linear regression band here. That's why I hit some resistance here twice, here and here, as far as, you know, bullish candle buyers. And, you know, have pulled back since then. They're trying to go up here and test it again. So it's just wedging itself higher and higher, methodically, and doing pretty well. Right? It's doing pretty well. If you ask me, it's doing pretty well here. Again, you know, kind of testing some top spots here on the RSI. Again, 64 is still not bad. But again, nice move from yesterday's breakout area around what, you know, $6 some change, you know, roughly about $7. Going back looking at the chart, you know, previous history from there, you know, you had like almost like a, you know, overarching little, you know, little trending area here, respect at the bottom of the linear regression band. Here's lifted it to the T and launched from it, right, all the way to the top of it up here. Right? So stock is doing pretty well. Again, you got some resistance areas up here, as you can see, going back on the previous chart history, you know, back in August of basically this month. This year, you had some highs up in this area, you know, in the same area here. So 88, I should say 880 and change up to at least roughly, you know, $9, you know, and some change up here. All right, so $9 some change up in this area here. All right, so 930, we should say. So that should be, you know, what bulls are going for in this stock. Again, the trend is still strong, if you ask me. Again, I don't know the actual catalyst. I'm pretty sure there's a catalyst behind it, all right, for it to make that kind of move. A battery car, yeah, it's battery car, yep. So I figured, you know, lithium. Anytime you see lithium, you already kind of know what's going on, right? Especially all the lithium plays. You got Albemarle, I might have said it wrong, right? They're out of China, ALB, that ticker symbol. You got SQM, those are lithium plays, right? Lithium battery plays. Let me post some of them just in case. I've traded them several times. You got ALB. You have it's an ETF. What's that ETF? Is it lit? It could be lit. I think LIT. That's an ETF for lithium play. And then obviously, you know, you got this one here now, LAC. That might have been it. I might have been. And they call it lit. I've traded them off and on back in the time, especially when Apple. Tesla had a big issue with turns trying to really reinvent that battery situation that it was having, you know, a year and a half ago, somewhere around there, give or take. But a lot of those lithium battery plays were just banging. Yeah, they were banging. Yeah, say lit is ETF. Yeah, so I figured, I was like, oh, I remember that lit too. Yeah, so again, nice little move here on this stock. Again, it's ahead of the battery day, right? It's ahead of battery day, right? Because y'all know the big day for Teslas, you know, next week, right, with battery day, right? So guess what? Some of these stocks going to start picking up again like they did before when, you know, they had their battery day last year. So y'all finna wake up. Y'all better wake up. Right? Over Brandon already on it. Right? This stock is catching the bid. Right? And these companies will drop their news or save their news in around that event because they want to parlay, you know, Tesla's event right into their momentum. This could be that scenario, right? This could be that scenario. And these stocks are pretty well priced. They're not overly crazy. Right? They're not overly crazy. Right? So again, you know, just thinking about it from, you know, a place of just where stocks are, you know, where they have came from. In this case, it was trending right at the bottom of the support on the linear regression band. This was like pretty much a give and bounce here because, you know, it would have had any kind of crazy, you know, crazy news to break it from here, but it did not, obviously. So if you was watching stock ahead of this, all you had to do is say, okay, here's a trend support area. Here's the trend support area. Let me start buying right here and set your stop loss not too far underneath because you already at what? The baseline of support. That's literally how you trade this stuff. That's literally how you trade these stocks. You got to find the ones who are kind of like that in that perspective. Again, the RSI not too bad, and just ride them up. And so here you are. I mean, that's a nice little, you know, dang, there a couple points here in 2 days. That's literally what we're looking for, you know, in terms of we're trying to find any particular place. So it's holding trend. So good stock there. Good stock there. Over Brandon, right? Good stock there. I'll keep my eye on that one too. Going into battery day, I will keep my eye on it. Right, over, could you say Oracle? Right. So Oracle, obviously, you know the big story with Oracle. Right. Oracle got the bid for the TikTok deal. Now more news came out later, like I figured it was. Like I spoke it up, right? Remember I said it depends on what kind of deal it is. That's the reason why Microsoft got rejected because Microsoft probably tried to lowball them. right? Because it was like, I'm not going to pay you $30 billion if I can't get the source code, right? Well, I need the source code. And so Oracle probably like, well, we'll take it for, for so-and-so, or, we'll come up with some other kind of deal to at least get our name, on the books for TikTok. So it turns out that it was more of a partnership. It was more of a partnership deal than an actual outright buyout. That was the issue. Well, I'm not going to call it issue, but that was the schematics surrounding the Oracle ByteDance or TikTok deal. ByteDance was like, wait. Okay. Yeah, I know we got to deal with the licensing stuff on our side in terms of Beijing and China, but what we're going to do is, since we can't get fair value for what we want for it, we'll partner with you, right? We'll partner with you enough to see if we can get Trump, and administration to kind of sign off. Because this is a game of chess, like I said before. This is going to be a chess match. So all Oracle is doing is trying to get the approval of what? Trump. Now, y'all know Trump favored Oracle over Microsoft and Walmart. Could make this stuff up, right? So obviously he has a favor for Oracle. He wanted them Oracle to get the deal over Walmart and Microsoft. But, the White House had conceded, a week or so ago that, they know Microsoft would be more suited to handle the deal. But they always favored Oracle. Because, again, he likes Oracle, right? Trump, that is. So that's what this was about. This was a strategic stress. All right? It makes a stress and a chess move by Oracle and ByteDance to say, hey, Trump, at least we got you in the door. And it's your favorite company. Now what? You going to sign off? All right, we're just going to partner. Right? So Trump them probably looking over right now, him and his team, they're like, see, they trying to be slick. They think they slicker than me. Right? Y'all know Trump already think he's slick. Right? Think he's slicker than a can of oil on Sunday, right? Think he's slicker than a can of oil on Sunday. And so they're like, let's look into this a little bit more. And so what you have here, the stock obviously, on the news, again, it was a massive, gap up. We went through this on the Sunday show, right? We broke this down on Sunday show, literally to the T, basically what was going to happen. It happened too. Now, I said it's going to go up to around about what? 63, 65, right? Well, we went that high, right? It pulled back, obviously, when more people started, begin to read the news. And then they halted to start doing the intraday session, right? That was weird. But again, it was just more so just to really confirm the deal, right? The partnership, I'm going to call it what it is, the partnership. And the stock pulled back, tested the 20-day moving average here. This on the 30-minute chart, obviously, right? Tested it here, right? Down about 59, and then some buyers stepped up and bought it in the after-hour session going into today, right? And here you go, a nice little bump up. And it's bumping up, obviously, because of who? The tech sector in the SPY, right? Spiders are catching a little bit. So it's riding that coattail a little bit. It's obviously still in a bullish trend in terms of coming off the bottom of the linear regression band here. Again, the trend is your friend, right? We like trends, right? We like trends, right? We like trends, right? We like trends, right? And so that trend there is pretty much just, yesterday, yesterday's action, the previous gap up from the after hour session into today, it's still riding that coattail. Again, sitting right at the middle of the linear regression band here, this mean line, this line in the middle here, and it's just riding it up, which is good. And now it would do Oracle really good if it just kind of quietly stayed out of press air, and let it just do its thing in the background in terms of this deal and just ride the middle of this line up, right? Don't go too, get too fancy, right? Don't get too fancy and be trying to surf way up here on the top of, a big Kamehameha type of wave, right? From Hawaii up here, right? But if you just stay right here in this little area here, give or take, in this little area here and ride the top here, that'll be really good for the stock. I mean, again, that's just my opinion, of course, until we get more definitive news on that Oracle deal, right? On that Oracle deal. All right. So it's definitely one worth looking into, right? If you are, again, thinking, that, there's a lot of good value here because, again, it's Oracle. It is Oracle. Now, let's get it. Now, they ain't the company they used to be back in the old days, but they ain't no little, underweight company either. It's just that, y'all know how the game is now. People starting to, build a lot of their own, product and services that they used to get out of Oracle alone in their own in-house rally now. Again, a la Apple. What Apple did, they unveiled their own chip, 5-nanometer chip. Right? Doing away with, companies that like Intel. Intel was a big proponent of Apple phone, making the chips. Now they don't use Intel anymore. Right? They're making their own chips now, proprietary stuff. So people started to realize that. That's why Tesla obviously has advantage in so many categories when it comes to autonomous driving, right? And just its technology, package that it offers, it's shareholders and its consumers of their vehicles, because they do a lot of these stuff in-house proprietary, right? The outsourcing is very minimum to a degree. Well, at least for the stuff that really matters, I guess, I think in terms of Elon Musk's mind, because again, he's trying to be the brainchild of everything. And to the point where like Dell computers back in the old days, if you bought a Dell, if you ever had your computer, laptop, whatever, desktop break down on you, you could not go buy some off-brand parts for it, right? You had to go strictly to Dell to get that OEM product, that original equipment material product, right? They was not playing the radio, right? They kept everything in-house, proprietary. Right? And that could be a good thing, if you're really trying to, protect your license, value, or your patent value of your technology. Right? But you're really going to have the user base who's willing to kind of sit through that, those headaches and waiting to get, the stuff they need from the company and all that kind of stuff too, when their stuff, falters or whatever, or breaks down. All right. So again, Oracle still looks good here. Again, you got some areas to watch. Again, it's obvious. You got your VWAP here sitting at around about $60.66. You got the 20-day moving average kind of somewhat parallel to it here. Again, it's trending, right? So you definitely gonna need the VWAP to kind of curl and keep staying above the 20-day moving average, because again, if it dips below that 20-day moving average, you already know what's gonna happen, right? All right, you got a gap here. All right, we got a gap. We want to kind of feel half of that gap, down around about 59.50. We just say 59.50, make it a round number, right? If anything below that, okay, it can get a little ugly, right? You got a gap here. Top value around about 58.78. All right. If it breaks that, then you could definitely downhill slalom all the way back to this gap fill here around about 57.34. Right. Again, those are just your short-term worst case scenarios, of course. But that's what we do, right? If we're going over technicals, we're gonna ID everything that's necessary for us to make good decisions based upon if you entering or exiting the trade. At least you'll kind of have some the wherewithal to realize what's going on for us with the asset, right? What's going on with that asset, right? So, yeah. So for the most part, it still looks good. Still looks good. And I'm saying look good because it depends on where you got in at. Because obviously you bought up here, around about 62, 63 there. Of course, you're like, man, come on, stock, come on, stock. Right? You got your rocket theme song music going in the background, right? You chopping wood with your bare hands and I don't know. Knitting quilts and stuff. I don't know. You got to go through your proving ground mode, right? Trying to not have to worry about the stock. So, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Right? Looks pretty good, especially coming from this mess here from the other day with the news, and then making a move on that from that point on. Right, making a move from that point on. All right, so that's Oracle there. So again, keep your eye on it. Let's see what happens from there. So Brother Matthew say Adobe and FedEx, yeah, they got earnings. Earnings out there are gonna be big for those. Again, y'all know the deal. We got some earnings this evening here. I posted the chart in the group. I mean, some of you guys probably already got it anyway, but if you just want to see it again on GP here, let's run over to let's see, what did I do with the that. Did I? Okay, here. Sorry. Let's get that out of here. All right. Sorry. Trying to pull up the earning. Leonard, right? Their earnings Monday, so that was one that I shorted in the earnings because again, luxury home builder, KBH, Toll House, they a little bit more suited for the the everyday stuff. But Lennar definitely deals with more high end real estate developments, and so again, just for thinking about where the price came from, off the March lows to where it was trending up that high, they really had to really blow it out of the water. Again, yeah, we know they was blessed with the idea that interest rates are based in there at quarter point. Makes at zero, so it's obviously a benefit to the housing sector as a whole, right? And buyers who are buying homes at this point, even though they say it's a buyer's market right now, so they ain't necessarily good for people trying to get these little cheaper prices, right? Because now people raising the prices on these properties because of the fact that people fleeing from the inner city to get away from COVID. They're running back to the rural areas, right, in the suburb areas, right? So a lot of those properties are now coming with a healthier price, right? And so people now realize that who are use this COVID scenario to kind of refi their scenario and their mortgages, and fix up their homes and put them on the market and take advantage of some of these people, right? Take advantage of some of these people who are looking at come in and get them so-called a new residence, right? Get them a new residence, right? So real quick, I'm gonna look at this real fast. Hey, what's going on, Sister Angie, right? It's Angie. I'm gonna call you Angie, right? Cause I know I think they be calling you Angie, right? I don't know. I don't want to butcher the name, but I think it's like Angie. I think it's Angie, right? Yeah. What's going on, sis? What's going on, everybody? So real quick, I'm gonna look at these two right here. All right. So real quick here, we got over Brother Mathis, his charts there. I'm just going to go to use the let's see. Let's use the Earning Whisper one first, right? So this is the area that they got mapped out, right? So you got to obviously, wedge here, the reverse wedge here. Obviously, in that case, it kind of cleared that, right? Got above that resistance here, above around about, and this is for the earnings per share, right? Earnings per share going into the, the earnings, right? Hold up, this earning per share. Hold up. This is for their. I don't think it's for earnings. Yeah, earnings estimate. Okay, I think it could be for earnings per share, but the actual price is over here to the right, though. I'm trying to see what these numbers here are. Is this earnings per share? Could be. I have to go look. But nonetheless, again, you got FedEx here at the top. Now, FedEx have obviously benefited greatly because of the COVID situation, and they were pretty much left for dead. Y'all remember FedEx was just getting daggered, right? Because again, it was trailing behind UPS. The USPS was obviously taking their lunch too. Amazon had dropped them like a bad date, right? They were just one brick to the head after the next, right? And so COVID came and literally reignited and reinvented that company because y'all know everything had to get delivered. And they was, again, you trust a company like a FedEx or UPS for more sensitive shipping items that's supposed to the United States Post Office. So these companies caught massive bids, right? UPS and FedEx, right? You also got XPO Logistics. That's another shipping company, right? But your name brand household, FedEx and UPS, of course. So again, massive gaps. Coming back to the point where, again, FedEx was left for dead, so to speak, right here about this 150 couldn't necessarily penetrate it, right? Kept, having trouble around 155, 153, whatever. So then was 60 something. Pull back, dumped on the pandemic news, flushed down as low as dang near like 80 something around there, and bounce and sit up here near 225 now and change, right? 230 somewhere around there, baby, give or take. Couldn't make this stuff up, right? So again, highly extended off the March lows. Think about where it came from. Not only does it mean it can't go higher because it has a use case, right? But at some point, coming off this last gap up here and made another big gap and run, at some point, you might be thinking they're getting ready to ring the register at some point. Long-term investors may be thinking about, taking a little profit off the table off this bounce. Again, you got in around here and you selling up here. Oh yeah, that's a bag, right? So down here in Adobe's case, again, y'all know cloud computing, PDF, all this stuff that it does, right? We know they're obviously kind of wavering a little bit. Look at DocuSign, look at Smartsheet Contract, look at Splunk, right? Look at Workday, look what happened to a lot of those stocks, right? Adobe somewhat in that same Zscaler, right? Some of those. Look at Adobe sits in that same space, right? Anything above, this 507 area, looking at it here again, some massive, resistance up in this point here, right? And you need it to really outperform. It is one of the best in breed stocks in this space. Granted, you did feel the gap here off this, though. This gap here, gap up here. You feel that since then, right? But again, you are still looking a little toppy. And that's again same way we're talking about where the stocks came from off the March lows. That hey, you're talking about under what, 280, and it went all the way up like 500 and something. Doesn't mean that it still can't go higher. I'm always going to say that, but again, let's look at from that perspective. So we'll look at the more detailed aspect right? But that's just, the earnings, well, from Earnings Whisper Office in terms of their layout, but that's what it looked like, what it looks like going into the number, right, to the print tonight. And so, again, you got the stock on the daily. It's up, a couple bucks and change, right? It's up a couple bucks, right? And so the 6-month chart obviously looks very beautiful, right? It looks very beautiful, but, it might already be priced in, right? The numbers might be already priced in terms of what's next, right? It looks like it's already priced in, right? So we'll have to see exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this here. We'll see exactly what comes from, their earnings aspect, when they release. So a lot of people, some people buying calls, and let's see. Calls leading to puts 5-2 in terms of open interest, right? That's important. Not that it matters because, again, people still can dump the stock, all right? But calls are leading to puts in terms of the open interest going into earnings, right? As you can see here, FedEx options imply about a 13.4% move. That's a pretty nice move. All right, so that's basically 13% of a $240 stock. So you do the math on that. What's 10% of 240, right? 10% of 240, at least what? $24, right? Then you got additional 3%. 3% of 240 is what? About another what? $6-7, right? So it could potentially move around about 30 some odd dollars. 31, 32, 33 odd dollars. Potentially, right? Right. So you can easily pull back to like $200 and $10, $200 even, or it can shoot up as high as around about what? 260, 270. Potentially. I gotta keep saying that. Right. We're trying to make some moves and like, oh look, you said it's going. No, this is all entertainment, right? It's edutainment, right? But as you can see here again, just looking at the options, though, FedEx is about a 2.6 times normal the rate for calls, leading the puts at 5-2. Implied volatility suggests the market is anticipating to move near about 13.4%, or like I said, $32, right? $32. After results are released, median over the past 8 months, 8 quarters, 7.8%. So this is expecting a bigger move this quarter. Why so much this quarter? Because again, the whole issue surrounding COVID, and the implied volatility where people have been running to so-called defensive plays, stocks that had a better use case for COVID. And they built up their the open interest on a lot of these stocks, which obviously translates into what? Potential aspect of a bigger move. If people are not excited about it, they can dump. If people are excited about it, they're going to hold, right? And let it run high and close out at higher prices. So again, it looks good going into earnings. It does look good. But we have to assess whether or not it's priced in, meaning, the move already is priced into the stock, or it's not. Right? Or it's not. But nonetheless, it looks, looks good, right? But to me, again, I'm always going to be the type of person. Well, it looks a little extended, right? It looks a little overbought, right? Looks a little overbought. But again, that's just going to be the technical, eyeball, or the technical person in me, right? The technical trader in me. That's going to have me looking at it from that perspective in terms of where it came from, where it's at, where it came from, et cetera, et cetera. Instead, there go Apple. Apple then broke down and went lower. While we're sitting there talking, Apple then pretty much not only gave up the ghost, but gave up everything else along with it. Right? It didn't gave up everything along with it. Right? So Apple is definitely in the just like I said, it breaks that area. It broke it. It broke it while we were talking. It broke that area, and it lights out. What they call lights out, right? Lights out, mask on, move silent. Right, back in the old days, right? Back in college, right? Right. They moved that thing right on out the gate. I'm trying to see if I might catch me a bounce. Let me see here. I have some stuff waiting in the wing, but let me see here. Let me see. So, yep, 113.62. Again, that's one of the areas we were talking about, coming down to the 113s. And I'm pretty sure the S&P is pulling down with it. It's following right behind it, or it's leading it one way or the other. Right. That baby is definitely coming down. Looking at Apple here. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Sorry. I got interrupted for what they call a news flash, right? We interrupt this public service for a news flash. Apple stock is now starting to trend down. Right? Look at that trend right there. Man, look at that right there. Look at them bearish candles. Exactly what we kind of talked about. And all it did was kind of what? Arched over just to pick up momentum to the downside. Right? So tomorrow, it's going to be very interesting. So if anybody bought puts around here, or heads here like they're supposed to, responsibly, you eating right now. Or you printing, you're printing right now. The print going, right? That thing turning over a little bit for you. And so every now you're gonna have this oversold bounces. It's gonna test the moving averages, then it's gonna what? Pull and go lower, right? It's gonna pull and go lower, right? So we'll see what comes from it. We'll see what comes from it at that status, right? We'll see what comes from it, right? Because I think right now, hold up, this thing ain't. Come on, chart. Keep up, chart. Is it not? Okay. I guess not. Why is this thing not? Hold up. Let me see. I'm sharing the screen. It should be showing. Okay. Can you guys see my screen right now? The Apple stock. Some reason. Okay, I see it. Yeah, it's showing. I'm like, why is this thing not showing? Okay. Yeah, so again, kind of what we kind of expected in a lot of ways. Again, the stock is under a lot of pressure here. Having to perform. And again, this is how they get a lot of people caught up too, because it'll have this little small pullback like you see right here. It'll shake out a lot of the weak hands, and then it'll rocket tomorrow, right? When I say rocket, I mean it'll get back up to where it came from, at least like 117, 118. It'll rocket back up there, right? It's like, man, y'all, we can't win for losing, right? So that means you're just kind of chasing the momentum. You're chasing the momentum around. Well, that could be problematic, right? That could be problematic, right? Because again, you are at a point now where the asset is, in itself, it's just basically doing what it's supposed to do. It's trying to, it's trying to, balance itself. It's trying to rebalance, the day traders from, the long-term, portfolio holders, right? I mean, it's that battle royal, right? Y'all know I'll be talking about it's a battle royal, right? It's a battle royal, right? It's that battle royal, right? So long as that, those kind of things are happening, in terms of, certain points like hold dollar marks are hitting, and it's kind of bouncing in around those areas, then you may have to deal with that a little bit. Now, granted, again, like I said before, y'all know how people are now. They're very, they're very impatient, right? They're impatient. They're impatient with these stocks, right? These stonks, right? These stonks, right? They're impatient with these stonks. This Robin Hood, nation out there, again, they still like them, but a lot of them are day trading, right? They're like, they can buy options, right? They may not understand options all the way to the degree they need to, but they just know they can go in there and buy it because somebody showed them how to do it. And they're trading it, it under that kind of that kind of mentality, right? It's like, man, I'm just here for a little piece of change, right? A little something strange for a little piece of change, right? The dude showed me how to do it, right? And yeah, I'm just trying to get me a little bag, right? I'm trying to get me a little bag, right? Don't tread on me, right? Don't step on my toe, right? Let me get me a little bag, right? So again, that's just something to kind of keep in mind in terms of knowing that these certain areas here in the stock has proven to be very again, It's a dog fight, right? It's a dog fight at this point. It is literally a dog fight, right? It's a dog fight, strictly between day traders and long-term investors. And then the bear trader just take advantage of any bull or bear scenario, or long or short-term trader position. They just sit in the middle like, yeah, man, y'all keep fighting. Y'all keep fighting. I'm just trying to short, both of y'all. I'm trying to short both of you guys, right? Because again, when opportunity presents itself, that's when you strike. Right now, again, if I went live right now, I'd probably be in that same mindset. Yeah, y'all already know. Now, I'd probably be somewhere, loaded up, around that 116 breakdown from 117, breaking that line there. I've probably been getting ready to go short on Apple, right? Just scalping it, right? Just for the value that, to see if it's really going to barbecue or mildew. Now, so we are inside the power hour time frame. Again, it's 3:14, so we are in the power hour, but the stock is definitely not, it's not printing out no power hour, price action. Right now, it's trying to just fight for its dear life. Right, it's trying to fight for its dear life, and again, and knowing that, you're gonna have a stock where, it could easily, right, get a little wicked after hours if CNBC and the other analysts don't come in and try to what? Soothe over the bullish traders. Because I could almost imagine right now, CNBC, them are going to be going like, they're going to be going crazy, right? Income this, well, see, but it was actually pretty better than what we expected. It's good. The stock is still good. It just, it's everything's still good. Of course it is in a long-term perspective, of course, right? But from a day trader perspective, people who rode it into the event, again, buy the rumor, sell the news, they're like, man, we out of here, bro. Out of there. Right? Ooh, we out of there. Right? That could be a song, right? Out of there. Right? Because again, they're not thinking long term, right? They're thinking, okay, short term, experience. I'll catch it on the next bounce, right? I'll catch it when they get ready, to really get this super cycle stuff all underway like they've been crying, for quite a while, especially Dan Ives, right? Dan Ives, the biggest bull on Wall Street when it comes to Apple, right? If you don't know him, Google his name, Dan Ives, like St. Ives. No, it was the V, instead of the D, excuse me. St. Ives with the V. Right? He's one of the biggest bulls out there on Wall Street when it comes to Apple. Right? He go hard for Apple. He go hard out there for Apple. So that's pretty much, what's going on with that. When I say with that, meaning, you stop me, you got Nicola dump, you got the SPY dump as well. Again, obviously it did, because if Apple coming down, the SPY coming down too. Right, but it dumped as well. Nicola, some of you guys will trade Nicola. Nicola definitely coming down. Again, it's been kind of trending up a little bit today. It hit some double top. Yeah, pretty much had a double top around about 34.37. Right, I got short literally right up there. True story. Disclaimer. Right, disclaimer. I got short on Nicola, roughly around about 34.37, somewhere around there. Right, got short on that puppy up there, and so I'm riding this downhill slalom on it too. Right, so kudos to that short for now, right? For now, right? And so that's it's turned out to be a moneymaker, in terms of just, a straight out equity short. Right. So again, that's, yeah, the market is, it's trying to, again, establish itself. It's trying to establish itself. After coming from, a nice couple of days of banging up to the upside, traders riding that wave, so to speak, of momentum, obviously led by the Apple event, and some other things out there obviously caused the market to kind of, get excited. And now, it's like, okay, well, yeah, we are, it's not like we just left the idea that we, we wouldn't have already, in trouble to a degree coming off again the highs when the market pulled back. It's just that, we're just trying to tread water here. Now we're just trying to tread water. Right. So yeah, Kodak actually pulled back today, old Dusty Kodak, right? Old Dusty Kodak pulled back a little bit today. Again, Cracker Barrel, again, y'all know I showed that Cracker Barrel in the earnings, right? No secret there, right? So it shorted the brakes on Cracker Barrel, right? Bought puts and I shorted the equity. Right? Both of them printed, obviously. So I bought the 130 calls of Cracker Barrel. It went down and hit a low today around about 128. Hit like 128.23, somewhere around there in the low. 128.30 something. I mean, I love that too. It just flushed right out the gate. It kept going down, pop up a little bit, and go back down low. So it held theta really good. The premium was good. The delta ended up being very juicy. Right, the delta ended up being very juicy on that trade, and I didn't have to worry about going through the entire day of all this kind of crazy trading for it to kind of respect my, my strike price. All right, so that was a nice little quick little bag, 100%, 100% little change on that little trade. And I still got the equity trade, still going. I took some off, got a little bit left in there. Got like 109 shares left in it, short, right? Odd number 109, right? So that one's printing pretty good right now as well. I think I got a couple, about 600 on that. Right, nothing major. Average short around about 137.50. Right, so again, we're just fighting. We're fighting. Right, we're just trying to establish, we're trying to establish some kind of level of, support areas to position ourselves from in terms of, if we're going to stay in the trade to get out, talking about Apple, obviously, and some of the other stocks like Oracle went over LAC a little bit for Oprah Brandon. And so, I mean, as you can see there, it's fighting with that 20-day moving average. Apple keep going up to it and getting rejected, right? It's fighting there. At that resistance area, and we're on the back, close to the back end. I'm not gonna say we're on the back end of the day, but we're getting close, right? Anything under 330, if the feds don't kick in, then shucks, some of these people might, check out, right? Some of these people may check out of that stock. They may check out. So again, like I was saying earlier, Nikola is fighting. It's just pinging and popping all over the place. It's Nikola, right? It's under a lot of pressure. We know why, though. We know exactly why. All right. Nikola's under some. They got the SEC beating down their door now. They have the SEC beating down their door. It's funny too because the CEO tried to go snitch on this short seller Hindenburg group that obviously put out a hit piece. Itemizing why they feel like, Nikola is a scam or a fraud. And the SEC end up investigating the company. Couldn't make this stuff up. They brought the police to their own door, trying to tell on somebody else, snitch on somebody else. Could not make this stuff up. And because of that, now the CEO and the company is under fire by the SEC. And they're looking into all allegations, but they're definitely looking at the practices of that company. They're now looking at the practices of that company now. Couldn't make this stuff up. Right. So again, that's just a part of, again, how this, being in the game a little bit here. When you out there saying that you this and you that, and in terms of, your product value, you can get along, get away with it for so long. Because again, y'all know that's still a proof of concept business model that Nikola has. They have no tangible product. Don't even have a model. Their model is virtual, right? You would think at least at this time with the money you made, through shareholders, you at least could have built the model. They don't even have the model. Right. So again, we know they just partnered up with GM, but that deal may end up going south. It may end up going south. Who wants that kind of press release pressure? And people looking at, Nikola and you tied along with them is like, man, what does that say about you? What does that say about your judgment? And that's exactly how shareholders are looking at, the GM management now. Like, come on, man. I know we want to get into EV space too, but I don't know. We might need to second guess this company here. Right? We might need to second guess these jokers just because they're American made. They ain't even American made because they're just American concept. Right? That's typical of that body is typical America though. The land of the concepts and the services. They outsource all the factories. But shareholders find value in it. So to each his own. Right? To each his own. Right. So again, Apple right now is fighting. Apple is fighting again to kind of hold the 114 area. Again, there goes Nikola coming back down to the downside. That makes me happy, obviously. That makes me happy. All right. So happy. Right. Loving that for my short position. Right. So again, Adobe, FedEx earnings tonight. Kind of looked at them a little bit there. It's going to be interesting to watch them. Just to be honest, it is definitely going to be interesting to watch them, right? Because again, people are, they're trying to, assess whether or not, these stocks are, do they really have a chance here, right? Do they really have a chance here? Right? And so the same thing with Apple here, it's treading water, right? It's treading water. It's trying to do a little something straight for a little piece of chain, right? Again, you may get a little bump up here, right, on the very back end of the day, and you may try to shoot back up to like about 115. That would be, again, good for the stock, right? I don't know if it'll get back above yesterday's closing price of 115.36. But, hey, who knows, right? Who knows? But as of now, this stock is on a one-way. It's on the highway to hell. It's the highway, right? The old school song. It's on the highway for intraday. That is intraday, only intraday. Intraday weakness. That is. Coming up the top. Top rope where it came from. All right. So, interesting watching how it closed out for the rest of the day. Again, got back above this 114.42 area, 114.44, 114.50. Again, testing that area, stress testing that area, and trying to establish itself. Right, trying to establish itself. All right, so yeah. So again, that's just pretty much what I see thus far. Again, I got my trade on for Lennar, a little bit of that left over, right? Got a little bit of that left over, right? I got my my Cracker Barrel trade still on. Got my 109 shares of that still. Right, it's downtrending after hours here, right? Again, you got Apple somebody trying to buy Apple. Somebody just bought 2,000 shares. Right? Somebody just bought 2,000 shares here. They fighting. That's probably the fund managers there. They're like, oh man, y'all ain't gonna do my stock like that. Y'all ain't. Right? Lennar coming back down. That's another one that one there seems to be pretty interesting too. So let me do this real fast. Then I'm gonna get ready to get off here, guys. I have to run their post out, like I said. So again, thank y'all for hanging out with your brother. Tune over the place a little bit, right? Right, we work in the most weirdest way, and so being able to look at this asset here, just kind of show you exactly, what's going on with a couple of positions I got going on here, but just looking at the broader chart, I should say the broader chart spectrum, right, of the stocks that are out there. At least that's for some of my little positions, right? Right. So again, we got you got there we go. Like I said, you got the Apple, and the Apple can fight it's trying to fight because again, this is the end of the day Fed pump. This is when the Federal Reserve typically kind of come and try to pump the market. Right. So you got to what? This is the 5-minute candles on the SPY. Right. So this is a 5-minute worth of buying coming in off this little level of support here in the SPY, which also not causing Apple to catch a little bid. And that's why it's fighting hard. You see it moving like that. That means that's a lot of algo is also kicking in too, right? That's not retail. That's a lot of algos doing that too. Right? When it moves like that, literally like an equalizer, when it's trying to rage and just keep trying to pop high, right? So you got a mixture of algos and on top of short sellers trying to cover, some of their little, intraday shorts. They might have shorted it down here, daggered it, got here, shorted it down here, tried a little bit, get out of it. So it's kind of causing this fight now, right? So anybody that's still short above here, now they're just sitting there trying to add to their short position, right? They're trying to short the top for it to drop. And the algos are fighting right now, fighting against them. Right? And as you can see here, now it's just trying to establish itself and trend back up. Right? Again, that's that whole idea of it's not that bad, Let me buy this dip, right? Let me buy this 114, right? We went on to 114. I'm finna buy this, right? And so look at sales Apple performing here. It's all over the place there. Right? It's all over the place here. Right? It's trying to establish us. Look at that. Lynn, you see Lynn here. Lynn definitely just, slalom straight down. Right? It came all the way back down there, at a key point here, a support here on Lynn here. Again, it breaks, anywhere underneath this 75, it can get a little messy to the downside a little bit more too. So not that many shares, holding it at this point left, like 150 shares left in it. I give a little minute to kind of see if it's going to make any kind of massive, close out into the bell. But as of now, Apple is getting some very aggressive buyers coming in, and again, it's the algos kicking in because of the S&P, right? This is the time of day, again, like I said, when the Feds are starting to buy the futures, right? Or get ready to prepare for the future, but they're buying the rest of the back end of the market in terms of the SPY, and, everything else benefits from it. See, now, see how it's moving like this, very erratic? It just want to drop just because the market, the SPY turned back over here. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. And now in come, harder drops, in Apple. I mean, it's a lot of volume inside of that. When you see it moving like that, that's a lot of volume. I mean, look at this in relation to everything else. Everything else is like barely, or it's Kodak, whatever. Again, Cracker Barrel there, obviously, yeah. Right. Lynn, yeah. But Apple just, right, like this here. You're like a real equalizer. A lot of people fighting in and out that stock. A lot of people fighting. Again, here comes the spot. See, you getting ready to break this point here. All right, this is your low of day. Right? If I'm not mistaken, that's a low of day. Yeah, that's low of day. Right? So you break that low of day, even on the back end of the day here, in terms of the SPY, yeah, that could be a little messy. Right? That could end up being a little messy for, again, stocks like Apple and some of the other stocks. After they've kind of benefited off a great run, over the past 2 or 3 days. Again, you can see down here my little so-called, watch list. Again, got Kodak there, some little baby right there. That's my little baby there, the AGRX. We just been climbing up lately. Over the past 2 weeks, we just been going up almost every day. Right? Loving that, right? We bounced off 230, and we just been climbing up, right? So I just been adding all down in the 230, 250 area on AGRX. Y'all not got that in a long-term portfolio. Actually, several long-term portfolios in about I got a long in about three accounts, right? My biggest long position is in my TD Ameritrade in AGRX. Y'all know I'm in that stock at 50 cents, right? I'm in that stock at 50 cents, and I'm holding for the buyout, right? Buyout or this, they ramp up the production. Obviously, we got going around about the Q4 session of 2020 when they supposed to began, really launching the product. Right? They already got proof of concept. They already got the FDA approval. They already got the marketers out there marketing it. We're just trying to get the insurance coverage now. Right? We're just trying to get that insurance coverage. Right? But yeah, so that AGRX, whatever. Right? Tesla again got back above 450. Remember, again, we talked about Tesla. We call Tesla to the T. We call Tesla. Ahead of the battery day event, right? Headed up back towards that 500, and actually ahead of schedule too. We're talking about areas around like 400 to 410 around this time frame. We already ahead of the game. Couldn't make this stuff up. So anybody that bought those calls, y'all remember I showed y'all bought those calls, the $500 calls, right? What was about a week and a half ago? The $500 calls for Tesla for battery day, right? For the 23rd, I bought them 22nd. Look at the SPY. Look at the SPY definitely dumping now. Here come the SPY. Right, here come the SPY. Look at that big 5-minute candle on the SPY right here. All right, look at that big 5-minute candle here. Again, it's showing here. You got Apple testing the 20-day moving average here, hitting it here, trying to get, they're trying to buy that support off of it, but I don't know if it's going to hold, because looking at this candle here on the SPY, yeah, they finna to put some pressure on Apple here. All right, they're going to put some pressure on Apple here to break that 20-day moving average here. All right, it's fighting too. Yep. Slightly closed right below it too. Uh-oh. It closed below it a little bit. Uh-oh. It closed below it. You can see it right there. Tell me literally to the T. Look at Apple dripping. That thing dripping now. Right? It's dripping a little bit, right? Man, this stuff is awesome, man. That's why I love this stuff. I mean, that's why I love this stuff. Because again, this is just money, right? It's just all money, right? Look at that big wick there. See, somebody, yeah, this is crazy. Somebody spoofing the bid. And they trying to, turn it. And it might have been a dark pool, or dark pool buyer came in. Dark pool buyer might have came in right here on Apple. That big wick like that when you saw it just flashed up that fast all the way back up to this 114.50. I mean, they bought it. That means they bought it at 115, right? 114.50, even down here, right? They try to bring it to pull it back up, right? I mean, dark pool is just dirty. I mean, I talked about that before. I'm gonna do a live on dark pool one day, so you guys can realize how intricate the dark pool is when it comes to moving stocks, and you can't figure out how stocks are doing what they're doing, right? That be dark pool all the time, right? They be either getting in or getting out of trades, or trying to turn the stock. They be trying to turn the trades, right? They do that just to try to turn it. Especially if it's downtrending, they'll try to do it, come in with a crazy dark pool buy just to turn the momentum, right? And then they'll get out, and then, let the retail traders, they JP Morgan, BlackRock, all the people, they got dark pool desks. Goldman Sachs, they got dark pool desks. And that's exactly what they be trying to do. Right? It's exactly what they be trying to do. Right, so again, you got about 25 minutes here before the bell, guys. Again, just kind of showing you a little bit of what I got going on in my little couple of trades I got going on here. I got a couple more out there, some other scenarios too. Right? A little something strange for a little piece of change, they say. A little something strange for a little piece of change. Right? So that's about it, guys. So you guys got the list for the earnings for tonight. You guys weren't able to see my screen? Hold up. Oh, man. Hold up. This thing acting crazy. Oh, man. I'm sitting there doing all that. I'm sitting there doing all that commentary in real time. Right? Y'all can't even see. You know what I'll be talking about, man. Golly. I set it for the entire screen. Why did it not? Oh, no wonder. I don't think I clicked on it. Oops. My bad, guys. Can y'all see it now? Can you guys see my screen now? Man, all this time I was sitting there, talking this and talking this. And oh, man. Sorry, guys. Talking that SPY here, this candle here, and this candle. Sorry about that. Ay. Long day, guys. Long day. Long day. Ay. Sorry about that. And I mean, now you got some real energy here. You got some energy here in the SPY here. I mean, look at this candle here. These are 5-minute candles here on this chart here on the SPY. You got some energy here in this next candle here starting to form. Again, getting ready to break today's lows. Again, you're right at today's lows at the bottom here. Getting ready to break that potentially here in the SPY. And there we go. We just broke it, right? There we go. We just broke it. We just broke, the intraday lows and going lower, right? Look at the energy here behind this candle here. Again, the same way for Apple here. Apple now back down towards that 114.15 area. Again, trying to hold above 14. I mean, look at that big bearish candle. It's a 1-minute candle there too. So that's some toots there a little bit. And again, just like that, snap back up, right? That's some algos. That's algos, right? This thing is very volatile right now. Apple is very volatile right now, right? Because there's a lot of people who revenge trading it. That they averaging down, right? They were buying up there around that 117.30, 117.50 area, 117.80 area. Now they have the average down, right? And so, and you got the algos behind you a little bit too. They fighting. Yeah, it's Apple is a hot mess right now. Right? Apple is a hot apple pie mess right now. Here come Nicola. Come on, Nicola. Here come Nicola. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Nicola. I'm gonna need you to get below $32. You've been up here playing around, knowing you're under all this SEC pressure. Nicola definitely under pressure, right? Still holding that short as well. Again, you know, not worried about Lynn. Lynn is just whatever. This here, I'm not even worried about that. Not even worried about that. Same with Cracker Barrel here, starting to kind of roll back over here. You know, again, on the back end of the day, after kind of made a nice little bounce off that 128.23 level when it flushed earlier. Again, I closed out them puts early on that, and I just held the equity short. Right, took some off the table, obviously, in the equity short, and then held the rest for potential retracement. So again, you're sitting here around about 134.97. It's trending, it's trailing, you know, whatever. But y'all know how the markets are. Right? Greed presents itself sometimes when stock drop, you know, precipitously off a point where people feel like, you know, it's fair value for the stock that's averaging down because they, you know, they beat in terms of their mind earnings, and now they just revenge trading, right? And so they're just trying to buy every dip, and then next thing you know, it ends up being like, oh man, why did I waste that good money on this? Dang it, man. Well, at least my share's a little bit lower. They end up saying something like that, right? But the stock is already like, man, look, we trying to go lower, bro. We trying to go lower, right? And obviously, you know, this stock can't. I mean, look at this. You couldn't make this stuff up, man. Look where the stock came from. Off the March lows, it was at $53 a share, and went up as high as around about what, 150, right? Cracker Barrel, right? Man, y'all know people. Come on, man, stop. How many people really door dashing Cracker Barrel? Because you know you couldn't go into the restaurant itself. I'm just saying, man. I ain't hating on Cracker Barrel, but I am, I guess. You know, I guess I am, right? I'm just analyzing it, though. I'm analyzing, right? That's what I do for a living. I analyze, right? So again, the stock is just overbought. So again, you know, in my opinion, that's why I shorted it in the earnings. You know, and you had a massive triple top up here. You had come break through resistance here, come break through resistance here, come break through resistance here, and then this is where it came from, and you know, going into earnings day, and now you just pull back some because of that. So again, this big long candle here, that's airing opportunity for this stock to come down and eat that bullish engulfing candle up. They're gonna fight to keep that from happening, obviously, right? So that's why I'm saying, you know, maybe you get down maybe like 124, 125, 120 would be ideal. But they're going to fight, man. They're going to fight to keep that from happening, right? Because these people greedy. I know Wall Street don't like taking on L's. Even when the company ain't, you know, they cut their dividend. Cracker Barrel had one of the biggest dividends out there, too. And they cut that obviously because of COVID, you know, rightfully so. And then they had a bad investment, right? They had a bad investment with that Punch Bowl app, right? I don't know if you guys might be familiar with Punch Bowl. Somebody, you know, younger people out there, I should say the millennial value, right? Punch Bowl, again, a little app, right? It's kind of catered to the millennials, right? So they was actually trying to bring in the young crowd into Cracker Barrel, right? Imagine a joker that got, you know, that's that, you know, a little young, got, you know, spiky hair and all that kind of stuff, coming to Cracker Barrel to eat next to somebody's grandmama, right? Right? They're trying to eat biscuits and gravy, right? The old folks, right? And young folks coming in and say, man, where the mimosas at? Y'all got the mimosas at? You know, moving grandma, you know, little biscuits off the table. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, so that's Cracker Barrel, whatever. Okay, now you got a little bounce on Apple here. Again, that's because you see the SPY here trying to bounce, right? You got the SPY trying to bounce off this 339, which is obvious. You don't hold all the marks again, always launching pads. And that's exactly what's happening here on the SPY. It didn't break through it on the first try, at least here, and also, you know, on the second try. So, you know, this is the moment where algos are trying to buy this whole dollar mark. Now, will it hold? We'll have to see here. But as of now, they're trying, right? And that's, you know, retail in there too. Again, you know how it is. They averaging down, right? Or trying to buy calls for tomorrow, whatever the case. Y'all know how the market is. Right? That's the market. Right? That's just the market. So again, I'm just seeing if, you know, we can get 131 to break on Cracker Barrel here. I may go ahead and close that off. Right, got about 20, 17 minutes for the bell. We down at 131.67 on Cracker Barrel. We break 131. I may close off the rest. I closed some of it down here on the 28. Go here, down here near this 128 area, 129. And so now it's just sitting here, looking heavy, right here, looking heavy. It needs to go on a breakdown from there. But nonetheless, we're watching. So same with, again, Nikola, right? Nikola needs to break this little point here. It's about the 32.74 area, right? Before it can get a little greasy, right? To the downside potentially. And that's just pretty much it, guys. So, just showing you what's going on here. Again, there you go. There's a little green counter in the spy there. They're going to fight to keep it out to 339 because, if it breaks to 339, then again, let's see. Yep. Gap to fill. That's exactly why they fight it there. Gap to fill. We have a gap to fill, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Ladies and gentlemen. That gap to fill. Hold up. Let me go to another chart because it ain't. I'm not going to be able to. Well, I might can blow it up here. There we go. Here. So right around this area here, right? We break here. We got a gap to fill down here around about 338.60. Right? 338.60. So that's why they're fighting to keep it off that, off that 339. Right? They're fighting to keep it off 339. So if Apple obviously, is fighting here too, but if Apple definitely turns over even more, that's going to pull the S&P down. Right? The S&P is going to come down too. So Apple's doing everything it can now to keep, the SPY, because SPY just trying to ramp up here, as you can see. Apple's like, we ready to get out of here. See, that's that part of the game where you're like, oh man, y'all ain't falling, man. Come on, man, y'all ain't, you blowing the hustle right now. You blowing up my hustle right now. I'm trying to hustle right now, right? Steve Mnuchin and Jerome Powell trying to hustle right now, thinking they get some buyers to come in, and Apple like, man, look, we done fought all day, man. We tired, bro. Right, we tired, bro. And so they're doing everything they can here to try to keep this thing above 339 before we close out. But hey, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Apple definitely seems like it wants to go lower. It definitely seems like it wants to go lower. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's fighting. It is fighting to try to, again, stay, relevant, at least close to the 20-day moving average on 9. Well, at least on this 1-minute chart. I can only imagine what the 5-minute look like, but they're fighting. Right? Here we go. See? That's it, right? I just called it, man. Here we go. Here they come. Here come the Fed on the back of the day. And then here's people covering too. They fighting, bro. They're like, man, get that thing off 339, bro. Get the market off 339. So whatever. All right, guys. So let me get out of here, man. Let me go get this stuff over here to the post office for the family. All right. All right. Thank y'all, man. So again, as always, thank y'all for tuning in. Peace, power, and profit to the family. Hey, I'm humbled to be here, man. I'm humbled to be here. I'm happy to share. Again, y'all know what happened over there on the other channel. Y'all know what it is. I still take the Robinhood approach. I really don't care. Even though I care, I really don't care. Right? Because again, today, that doesn't stop my money. Right? Right? A YouTube channel does not stop my money. I want to make money on YouTube. Right? I make my money in the markets. I use it as a vehicle to bring people together and share opportunity and knowledge in terms of the market. But that's it. Again, I take the Robinhood approach. So maybe my rebellious aspect of it. I'm the same way on Facebook, itself. Right? I stay getting suspended on Facebook. Now I haven't been suspended on Facebook for quite a while, which is weird. But they've been they've been stopping me from being able to post in a lot of groups lately. I don't know what that's about. I mean, I share somebody's post that they posted, and they'll block me for 3 days in terms of being able to post in the groups. Man, look, I done shorted their stock and bragged on the site and telling them I want to short the stock. Right? I don't care. Right? Why should I? Right? Why should I? Right? So again, so long as I got a couple little backup pages, I just fire them up. Right? So if you guys happen to catch me on the backup pages, we still gonna get it. Right? We're still going to get it. Right? Nothing stops the opportunity for what we're trying to accomplish here. Simple as that. Right? And that's just what it is. Y'all know what this stuff is about, man. Y'all know how this stuff is overly policed, and it's this discretionary type of, policing and, favoritisms. And I mean, it's obvious. That's why, people like Congress and everybody else were going after Facebook for doing just that. Discriminatory type of what? Policing people, right? Suspending a lot of the black users for basically reacting to the racism that they're getting on Facebook by a lot of these other little groups and they turn around and just let those groups run wild and suspend the what? A lot of black users. I ain't making this stuff up, right? And if you think I am, then I don't know what bubble you live in. I know you just got that benign neglect, pair of glasses on. You need to take them off and look at the real world, because that's just the reality of things, right? And y'all know me. I ain't dancing unless I feel jiggy, and I ain't scratching unless I'm itching, right? I don't go along just because it sounds cool or seem cool. I don't play that game. Too old for that. Too old for that, right? So again, I'm always going to stand on my square and stand on the value of truth that I've been able to research and quantify to the best of my ability, right? I'm not throwing out no hyperbole and speculative things based upon information stuff that I can't necessarily verify, right? And not to me that I can't be wrong, because again, I'm wrong, a lot of times like anybody else, but it's in the context of my level of wanting to always find the right information. My due diligence keeps me hungry, right? It keeps me from not wanting to settle, right? So I'm not going to be that type of brother to just settle, right? I'd rather do my own research, right? I'm always going to fire Google up, right? Fire up this stuff and get the answers I need. That's what makes a solid trader. Trader, again, y'all know this is not a lazy man's game. This is not a lazy man's game. You a lazy person, you ain't gonna make it in day trade. Not day trading. You can do all right long-term investment, but day trading, if you lazy, you can forget about it. You can get lucky a few times, but being consistent, it ain't gonna happen. You have to be on your game, right? There's people around here with billions of dollars going into the market, and you think you just gonna come in and say, yeah. No, they're like, no, right? You have to be on your game, right? And so that's what moves the needle in terms of at least this. Again, you don't have to be. Y'all get my point. It's a journey, right? It's a marathon. It's not not a sprint. But I just I'm always telling people, hey, give it your best. Give it your best, right? Bring the best of you. Again, you don't want to have your money out there unprotected, right? Just because you got it, you don't want to have it out there unprotected, right? So that's what I'm saying. So make sure you protect your money. If you put it to work, protect it, at least to the best of your ability, right? Don't send it out there halfway, rocking and rolling. Now it needs to be, we need to be rocking, right? If you send that dollar down range, it need to be rocking, right? It needs to be rocking and rolling, rightfully so, right? All right, guys. So that's, like I said, that's about it. Let me get out of here, get to the post office, so I can get back, and prepare for this evening. And let me see. I think my ear% in there. I got a couple errands. Yeah. Got some errands here. Okay. But all right. So that's it, guys. So thank you all for stopping through. Peace, power, and profit to the family. I'm humble. I'm grateful, right? Again, thank y'all for, traversing over here to African Emporium too, because of what happened over there at the other channel, right? So again, until that stuff gets rectified, or if it don't get rectified, guess what? We're going live right on over here, right? Harvard, right? What they call Lover House, second floor, right on the couch, right? Y'all remember that movie How High, right? You got your homeboy coming to live with you while you're in college, right? Right? Where he's staying at? Harvard, right? Right along with us. We're in Lover House, the second floor, right over there on the couch, right? Y'all coming right over here. We're going to crash the couch over here on African Emporium 2, and we're going to still get it in, right? Don't no one person stop the show, right? I make my money in the market, right? So I ain't sitting there crying about the YouTube channels, right? Because anywhere where I can go live, that's where I'm a perch up, right? I'm a perch up and porch up, right? And we're going to We're going to run it, right? We're going to run that information, right? We're going to run that beam, right? All right, so that's what it's all about, guys. So that's it. So thank you for tuning in again. Like I said before, Shimo tip to everybody. Again, prepare accordingly. Again, trade safe, choose well, and stay green. I'm always saying that for a reason. Trade safe, choose well, and stay green. Marathon, not a sprint. Put in that due diligence. Keep your discipline tight. That's what's going to equal dollars, right? That's what's going to equal the dollars. You can't skip it, right? So don't try to, this ain't no get rich quick. You can get lucky. Keep in mind, you can't get lucky. But luck only has a place, for so long, right? You only be lucky for so long, right? You can only be lucky for so long. All right. So that's it. So guys, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I see you guys back in the in the rooms, the Facebook groups, the Discord, things of that nature, right? And so until then, salute, and you guys have a great one. See you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody.